Welcome to Real Talk in ELT, a podcast that talks about the reality of teaching English.
Hello and welcome back to Real Talk in ELT. This is like the multi-part. it's just going to go on forever. I feel like I've been doing it forever. No, multi-part episode that is looking at the Twee app and all of the different functionality that you have in it so that you can get super creative with your lesson planning. And let the AI do the creativity for you, and then you can just double check. So we've gone through reading and vocabulary. In this one, we're going to look at writing. And there are only three here, three tools that you can use, but let's take a look and see what we've got. So the first one is create a list of essay topics on a given subject. Then we have find quotes by famous people on a topic, and I'm a little weary of that one already, and agree or disagree with opinions. So let's take a look at the first one of the essay topics on a subject. I am going to put, because I was using it before and reading vocabulary, I got distracted a little bit within the kitchen stuff, but I'm going to go back to a topic that I was using from the Wall Street Journal article, and I'm just going to put the central bank digital currencies. And we're going to keep the level at simple. There's simple or advanced, so we'll check out both of them and see what happens. So let's do the magic with simple and see what it comes up with. Personal essay or essay topics. So it comes into two categories. Yep, two categories. We've got personal essay topics and general essay topics. The personal essay topics would be my understanding of central bank digital currencies, how I think central bank digital currencies will change the way we use money, my opinion on whether central bank digital currencies are a good idea or not, how central bank digital currencies can help me save money, and my experience using central bank digital currencies. So those are all personal topics. I mean, that it's kind of like if you want them to write their own opinion essay and then justify their opinions with their experiences, great. Then there's general essay topics. So central bank digital currencies will replace physical cash in the future. What do you think? Some people believe that central bank digital currencies are more secure than traditional banking systems. Do you agree? Central bank digital currencies will make transactions faster and more convenient. Do you agree or disagree? And the introduction of central bank digital currencies will have a negative impact on commercial banks. What do you think? And finally, central bank digital currencies will reduce financial inequality. Do you agree or disagree? I think these are actually, because they're general essay topics, you could probably use them for writing, but you could also use them as conversation starters too. You know, like when you have, just put the statement there and then people debate yes or no, or you could set up a whole debate about it where the students have to research about central bank digital currencies or whatever topic you happen to be talking about. And then they have like some time where they go off in pairs or alone and they kind of, find some information to justify their opinion, pro or con, and then have the debate about it. I mean, these are okay. Not horrible. You might want to reword them. You might want to, kind of customize them a little bit, but I don't think like, do you agree is a great good way to prompt an essay, but fine. I could remove that very easily. I could remove that and not have a problem. I'm also quite picky. So, all right. So then let's go and look at find quotes by famous people on a topic. I have to say, I'm a little anxious about this. So let's look up education just because, why not? We're teachers. And see what we get. Okay, it gave us a list of 5. It starts with education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world by Nelson Mandela. I believe that is accurate because I've heard that several times. I mean, you just see it constantly posted on like teachers' profiles. I think I've probably posted it once or twice. All right, the next one's from Martin Luther King Jr. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that's the goal of true education. I believe that is probably true. Here's why I said I was a little weary of this, because education, they have one from John Dewey, B.B. King, Benjamin Franklin. these are pretty well documented people. I can't imagine that they would be misquoting it. And as AI is trained on set models, I imagine that it probably has this hundreds of thousands, if not millions of times in multiple places. And so it's been trained properly. However, let's look at, I'm just going to put women's equality in here and see what pops up. Here's why I'm weary. I don't know. Okay, so like Maya Angelou, you know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Malala. Okay, they're super famous. Here's the thing. I would check these. I would never just assume that this is being accredited to the correct person, because I think that sometimes a lot of things are misquoted on the internet, and then it's just there's one that's by Yeats, William Yeats. It's a quote about education is not the filling of the pail, but the lighting of the fire. And it's accredited to this Irish poet, this Irish writer, William Yeats. And it's not his quote. I mean, he probably said that in some way, shape, or form, but the origin of that is not with him. And I think they've had difficulties finding that quotation in his writings. Perhaps he said it. I mean, who knows? But they've traced it all the way back to kind of this modification of something that Socrates said, right? So it's something about like a vessel instead of a bucket and blah, blah, blah. And so who's the original person that said this? So I think that you can probably use this as like prompts or quotes. And if it's not super important on like who you're quoting, or if you're just looking for like a nice quote and it doesn't matter necessarily who said it, if you can't find the original source of who said it, and it doesn't really matter because it's just like a conversation prompt, then okay, fine. But I would be weary to use this in terms of you never know, because AI is being trained on models, and you never know how accurate the models are. If it's being trained on the internet, we all know the internet is not an accurate model of anything. So cool, yes. Be careful. I would just be careful. That's all I'm saying. I'm throwing it out there that I would be careful about it. Okay, and the last one for, what are we on? Writing. Oh, I'm a mess. Okay, the last one would be agree or disagree with opinions. Now, I think a lot of the writing ones you could probably use for speaking too, and vice versa, but okay, here we go. Let's throw in here, we'll go back to the thing that I've been using kind of throughout this whole series. Central bank digital currencies, because why not? And we can see all the possibilities for just one thing. Oh gosh. Okay. So agree or disagree with opinions. We've already got one here, which I love. Okay. So here we go. It gave us 4 people. And the first one is Tyler. Tyler says, I don't trust the government to have even more control over our money. Cash is king and always will be. And the example, I don't know why it has an example. Example, last time the government tried to regulate something, it was the internet. Look how that turned out. Oh, this was the example that Tyler gave. I was looking here. Okay, yeah, so that would be good. That'll start a conversation. Then they have Olivia. Olivia says, I think central bank digital currencies could be a positive step towards a cashless society. It's convenient and can reduce crime. Her example was, I love using Apple Pay, so why not expand that idea to the entire currency system? Again, I think these are really good. So you could have this as a writing prompt, or you could have this as a speaking prompt, to be honest. I don't think that you would lose any content or engagement if you did it either or. But yeah, these are pretty cool. And I like that they give an example, like they're kind of justifying their opinions there. So, and then that would prompt your students that they have to justify. Like you have to give a reason why. Like you agree, you disagree, and why do you agree or disagree? And they give examples here, and they can argue back and forth on the examples. So overall, I think that's a pretty good one. Not bad. So in terms of writing, these are the tools that we have for the writing. So they will create a list of essay topics on a given subject. Again, it was the personal essays and kind of the general essays, and you might have to modify those. Find quotes from famous people on a topic. Be careful. I would just say be weary. You can use it, but make sure that you're actually quoting the right person. You never know, especially if, like, for sure, absolutely not. Don't use this in academic writing. like, don't ever go here and be like, oh, I need to quote somebody for a specific topic in a paper that I'm going to turn into a... No. Like, go and find the quote in a book somewhere. And then the last one was the agree and disagree with opinion. So I think overall, those are pretty cool. They are decent writing prompts, and at least they were kind of polarized enough, not polarized to the point where they're offensive, but polarized enough that people would have some sort of reaction to it, which is always a good thing. So I'm going to skip over speaking because it has 7 tools there, but writing only has 3. So let's go down to grammar and listening because they only have 3 and 2. So we can put those together. So let's start with grammar and see what we've got. We've got to fill in the gap, scramble the words in a sentence, open the brackets exercise for verbs. Here we go. Fill in the gap. Okay, so we need to put in here a text. I'm going to go back to the thing that I've been using for like the past, I don't know how many episodes this is now. I don't even know where we are in this, but okay. I've been using the Wall Street Journal, the article, from January 16th about central bank digital currencies, just because it's easier. So, hey now. Okay, so I put the text into the box and I need to select the words by clicking them. Oh, we've done this before. So, but if we're doing it for grammar, then let me do more grammar related words. And okay, so I chose an auxiliary verb. Auxiliary. We've got some more. Okay, so these are the words that I chose. Are exploring, I chose are. Some countries, I chose some. And the Bahamas, I chose and. Have already rolled out, so I put already. And is studying, I chose is. Let's just see what it does. I don't know if it's going to be able to. Oh, all right. Well, this is just making a word gap. We've seen this before. We saw this previously. I think it was in the vocabulary section. So you're just selecting things. I mean, if you have a text that's heavily focused on like one grammatical structure or another, then of course it would be easier for you to kind of pick something out. But this doesn't do anything other than make a gap fill. So the reason that it's under grammar and probably vocabulary and maybe reading is because, yeah, it's just making a gap fill. So grammar and vocabulary, it makes sense because you're pulling out either grammar or vocabulary, but you can pick and choose the words. So there's no difference from the other gap fill that we saw. Spoiler alert. All right, next, let's do scramble words in a sentence. Well, let me get just a couple sentences here. So and the dogs are barking in the neighborhood because people can't control their dogs and they just leave them outside, which is I find to be ridiculous. But okay, anyways. All right, so I just put 2 sentences here to see what this looks like because I'm not really sure. Oh, okay. So what it does is it takes it and it divides all the words all the words from the sentence into individual words divided by a slash and then reorders them. So then people have to figure out the order. I guess, like if you're doing word order stuff, I just don't think you can use it from an article. Maybe you could use it from an article if it's a specific grammar point that you're trying to like word order or something like that. But I think it probably, if you had like model sentences or marker sentences that you really want to work on, you're really like focused on form, then I guess this would work out and you're doing some sort of like accuracy based exercise, then that works. So that's an easy way to make scramble the words in the sentence if you don't want to do that, because oh gosh, like actually having to do that would be irritating too. So that's a big time saver. Again, if you're working on these types of exercises. And let's see what this is. Open the brackets exercise for verbs. Okay, so here we have to type in the whole verb form. For example, running, will go, have been, da da da, and then we have to put a level. Well, I'm just going to use their examples. Running. Sorry. Is running. Will go. And for you to separate them, you just have to type a comma and it separates have been, has been going. Because I'm not very creative today. Okay, and we've got the level on simple. So let's see what this produces for us. Ah, okay. So the first example is running, and we have she, a space, run in parentheses in the park. So she is running. I mean, probably needs some contextualization, and hopefully you'll do that within your lesson. And then the next one we have number 2, I space go in parentheses to the store after work. So I will go to the store after work. The third one, they space with be in parentheses studying English for 3 years. They have been studying English for 3 years. And actually number 3 you might have a problem. I mean, because have been, it could be, yes, it could be a part of the larger present perfect continuous, but if you're trying to just do present perfect, like have been, like I have been to Italy, for example, that wouldn't be appropriate. See, this is why you always have to check, because it might not be giving you what you want, because perhaps it got confused because the last one was has been going. So there's a space with go in parentheses and then to the gym every day this week. So he has been going to the gym every day this week. Maybe it got confused because of that, but the first one should have only been have been, and they put have been together with studying. So double check, because that might not be what you're looking for. So those are the 3 for grammar. Fill in the gap, scramble the words, and open the brackets exercise. So it has like the space, and then it puts specifically only the verb. It puts the verb into the correct verb form, but you have to type in the correct verb form for it to like generate the example sentences. Here's a problem with that one though. Like I just said, it might conjugate it into something more complex than what you're introducing in the lesson. And also, it's not contextualized. It's all over the place. It's talking about whatever it just comes up with. So I'm not sure if that's a great one. If you're just kind of doing mixed examples, fine. But if you're doing a contextualized lesson and then you just throw random examples out there, it's probably not going to be the best thing. So, and the third part to this episode, because we did writing, grammar, and now let's just do listening, because why not? Okay, so there's only 3 tools here, so let's get cracking. We've got YouTube video to text. We have create questions for a YouTube video and summaries for a YouTube video. I'm excited about this to see how it works, but I think there might be limitations, so let's take a look. So YouTube video to text. I've got one, since we've been working with the central bank digital currency system, blah, blah, blah. I found this one. It was on HBO. It was a Vice documentary. Anyways, it's related because they were talking about China's social credit system, which is related to their central banking system, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, if you're trying to do things in a sequence, this might be useful. So here we go. So you take the URL and you slap it in there, and it comes up with the video. Here's the problem. Let's see how long this is. Yeah, it's a 5-minute and 44-second video, and you can't do more than 5 minutes. So limitations on time already. We'll see how long it takes to get all of this, because it's a 5-minute video. Okay, so it came up with a huge text. Actually, it's not even that long. And you can double check it against what it has here. I'm assuming that because this is coming from Vice and because it's like it was on an HBO, that it probably already has closed captions embedded into it. If it doesn't, then it might not be super accurate. So you'll probably have to listen and read and make sure that it's aligned with it, because depending on how you upload something onto YouTube, it's either going to have the closed captions already embedded, like you can closed caption it, or you can have AI closed caption it. But depending on if somebody has an accent or something like that, it's somewhat accurate, or it misinterprets things. So that's pretty cool. And it's the video from 0 to 5 minutes. So you would have to maybe do it again to get the last 44 seconds. If you're planning on doing this for like huge videos, then probably it's going to be a little bit more work, because you're going to have to keep going back and redoing different parts of it. So, but I have the free version, and apparently it's just 5 minutes. So then, great. Now we have the text. Now if we click here to create the questions for the video, you put the URL again. Yeah, see, it still has the 5-minute limitation. So it's going to be a 5-minute limitation on the videos. But if you have something like 5 minutes or less, then it works. And you can pick from the same style. So open-ended questions, A, B, C, D questions, multiple choice questions, or the true and false statements. Let's just do open questions first and see how long this takes, because I think it has to transcribe it first. Okay, well that took less than a minute, so that's not too bad. Again, I think that probably because this is a Vice News one, it already has the embedded closed captioning on it, so it makes it a little bit easier to access and to look through it. I think if you didn't have closed captioning available on that specific YouTube video that you're using, then you're probably going to have to do, or probably just going to have to wait a lot longer. So the questions here: what is the social score system, and how does it work in China? How does Joe Aini, I think, contribute to the social score system? Yeah, they seem, I mean, again, you kind of have to watch the video to make sure that they're appropriate, but it seems as if it works the same as the reading one, right? So the reading questions that they create, the open-ended questions, they just look at the text, see something that's there, and then ask, why or how, something along those lines. Let's look at the multiple choice questions and see if there's any difference here. Again, this took less than a minute because I think, again, the closed captioning helps it out. But you can see here that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's still going. It'll probably give us like 10, maybe 10 questions, I'm going to assume. Yep, 10 questions. So 10 multiple choice questions. A, B, C, D answers with the correct answers here. Again, you have to go through and listen and make sure that they're actually correct, but it's working off of the transcript that it had just previously generated, or it's working off of the closed captions that are already embedded into the video. And true, false, we can do it and see how long it takes, but I'm assuming it's relatively similar. Yeah, less than a minute again. And it works exactly the same. It's the same technology that it had for the reading. So it picks something up from the text. It gives you the true and false statement. It'll give you the true and false answers. And if it's false, it'll give you the justification. So if you're having people listen for specific information and they have to say something is false and give the justification of why it's false, then it does give you that. So that works pretty well. So again, those are the tools that you can use for listening. It's got the YouTube video to text, the create questions for a YouTube video, and let's look at summaries now. This one I will be interested in seeing. Again, it's got that limitation of 5 minutes, so it's missing the last minute of the text. I'm not sure how much of an impact that's going to make, especially if you're watching something that there's not a lot in one space or another. Maybe it's just video at the end. So we'll see how long this takes. Yeah, this took quite a bit longer. So we'll see. It gives you, it gives you summary, a contradicting summary, an imaginary summary. I'm wondering what the difference between these are. So the summary says the video discusses China's social score system, which was piloted in 2015. The system works by starting with 1,000 points, and points are docked for bad behavior and added for good behavior. The program is more than just public naming and shaming, as there are serious consequences for those who slip below 1,000 points, and the system aims to track, rate, reward, and punish all Chinese citizens by 2020. Contradicting summary says the video talks about China's social score system, which is a great way to incentivize good behavior and punish bad behavior. The program is not just about public naming and shaming, but also rewarding those who do good. The consequences for slipping below 1,000 points are fair and just. By 2020, China will have successfully tracked, rated, rewarded. Oh, okay. So obviously the Vice piece had one opinion. And it was based on the text. It had it one way. Then there's the contradicting opinion to the way that the information was presented in the Vice piece. And then imaginary summary. The video talks about China's social score system, which is a new government program that aims to improve the lives of its citizens. The program provides financial incentives for those who exhibit good behavior, such as lower interest loans and discounts on utilities and rent. The system also encourages citizens to help each other out and build stronger communities. The program has been successful in reducing crime rates and improving overall quality of life in China. By 2025, the government plans to expand the program to other countries around the world. Okay. Well, I mean, that might be good for them to watch and then decide which one is the most appropriate summary. You could take the categories, I guess, off of it and say which one accurately describes what was represented here, right? So it could be a course of discussion. Okay, interesting. So those are the 3 tools that you can use for listening. And we went through the ones for grammar in this video, which are the fill in the gaps and the scrambled words, and with writing, creating the essay topics. And I think writing, grammar, and listening, I think writing and listening, really, those are things that you could use a lot of these different ones for different types of classes. So I don't think that it's necessarily this is only for that, or this is only, I think you can find the tools that give you the information that you need, and then maybe then you can kind of adapt them from there. So that's the end of this part of this extremely long episode about how to use the Twee app for your lesson planning. I'll be back with the final one, which is speaking.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk and ELT. Want to join the conversation? Head on over to Instagram at Kelly Pennington ELT and send me a message. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube or Spotify channel to stay up to date, and of course, take care of yourself, your health, your vibe, and your tribe. Until next time.